The flying spaghetti monster is not just some straw man made up by atheists. He's real, and he loves you so much, he boiled for your sins. I used to be a hopeless unbeliever until I came across the 5 most undeniable arguments ever. So without further ado, here are 5 proofs for the existence of the flying spaghetti monster.
I've got it! We can simply roll it down a steep hill.
Imagine a meatball rolling down a hill. Now someone had to put the meatball in motion. So who moved it? And who moved the mover that moved the meatball? And who moved them? We need a first mover to solve this infinite regression. And that's where the flying spaghetti monster comes in. He is the first mover. Now, you're probably wondering, who put the flying spaghetti monster into motion? Well, that's simple. He's eternal, which means he's always existed. Because, well, that's just the way it is.
Yeah, nothing but cows.
So we know the flying spaghetti monster set the meatball in motion, but who caused the meatball to exist in the first place? Well, the meatball probably came from a meatball factory. But the meatball factory got their meat from a cow. The cow came from another cow, which came from another cow. It's cows all the way down. We need a first cow to solve this infinite regression. We already know the flying spaghetti monster is eternal, so we can just use him to explain it away.
Who's ready for rich, famous spaghetti? That's some good spaghetti.
There are 2 kinds of spaghetti, contingent spaghetti and necessary spaghetti. Contingent spaghetti relies on necessary spaghetti for every moment of its continued existence. All the spaghetti in the universe can't possibly be contingent. There must be one, ultimately necessary spaghetti upon which all other spaghettis depend. Otherwise, it's another infinite regression, and those make me really uncomfortable.
Now here you are, the best spaghetti in a town.
It's undeniable that some pastas taste better than others. The spaghetti from Olive Garden is way tastier than the goulash from my high school cafeteria. Whether it's linguine, angel hair, stuffed shells, or canned ravioli, all pastas exist on a spectrum of tastiness. If tastiness exists on a spectrum, then there must be a maximally tasty pasta out there, a frame of reference upon which we base all judgments of tastiness. Therefore, the flying spaghetti monster.
It's not just a boulder, it's a rock. A rock. A rock.
They're minerals. Jesus.
Everything in the universe either acts with knowledge or under the direction of someone with knowledge. My fork, for example, can't work towards its goal of picking up spaghetti and shoveling it into my mouth on its own. It needs a conscious agent like me. Now, how do things in nature, like rocks or rivers or tomatoes, work towards their goals? Rocks don't have goals, you might respond. The goal of a rock is simply to obey the laws of physics. And they're really good at it. Rocks always obey the law. In order to have laws, we have to have a lawmaker and a law enforcer. Therefore, the flying spaghetti monster exists.
Yeah, this is a bunch of bull crap.
Some skeptics have criticized these 5 proofs of the flying spaghetti monster, but they always have the same tired old arguments. They say things like, oh, these arguments are bad because you can use them to argue on behalf of different and contradictory God claims. Or just because the flying spaghetti monster is sufficient to explain away an infinite regression doesn't mean it's the only candidate explanation or the correct one. Or, oh, tastiness is just an arbitrary and subjective assessment that could be swapped out for any other random attribute like perfection or smelliness. The first 4 arguments are really all just the same argument worded in slightly different ways. You're making up an infinite regression so you can plug in your made-up God as the solution. But there's no reason to think that infinite regressions are a problem in the first place. Maybe the universe is eternal. Plus, the flying spaghetti monster isn't even really a solution at all. You're just solving an infinite regression by appealing to another infinite regression. Number 5 is just a complete misunderstanding of the difference between physical laws and legal laws. Legal laws are prescriptive. They're rules that we make up and enforce to other humans. Now, physical laws are descriptive. They're descriptions of the way that matter interacts with other matter in space. And there's no reason at all to think that these physical laws needed to be made up by someone. And there's also no reason to think that they could be anything else. These are the opinions of atheists. I think the real issue here is that these atheists just want to sin. They're perfectly happy denying the truth because they want to live a life of sin with no repercussions. Well, I've got news for them. Wishful thinking is a bad reason to believe any claim, which is why I'm a Pastafarian. Have a blessed day, and may the flying spaghetti monster touch all of you with his noodly appendage. Ramen.